What's up, everybody? Let me go ahead and get the Ask Tim stuff off, because this is not an Ask Tim stream. This is a printer build stream. So we're going to be taking a look at the Ender 7, which is right here. This is the printer we purchased. This was not a review unit. And we're going to go and build it. We're going to do a test print or two, depending on how long it takes. And then go in and try to see what is inside, what kind of board they use, stepper motors, etc. Wiring, see if they tin the wires or not. Do you guys want to place bets right now on if they tin the wires or not? I'm willing to bet they did. I'll be surprised if they didn't. But anyways, how's everybody doing tonight? We're doing haven't done a later stream in a while. Krista, I thought we had beverages here because it's late night. Oh, I thought you brought them out. Oh, sure. Both. Whatever we have up here. So anyways, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into this. So it is completely sealed. So it has been sitting here. When did I bought this from Tiny Machines. When did we get this? There's usually a date somewhere on here. April 1st. So shortly before we went to Murph. And I also have, and I don't know if I'll have time for this, but in this box right there is actually the Tiny Machines Z upgrade kit that we also purchased from them while we were at Murph. So I don't know if we'll have time for that. I think Chris said the documentation would be up by now, because when I bought it from him, he did not have documentation on that kit. So either way, we're going to go ahead and tear this open. If you guys want to chat and ask questions, I will not be looking at the chat for questions like we do on the Ask Tim streams. If you have questions about the printer, though, let me know, and I'll just keep an eye on chat. We're not going to use the bot for collecting questions. So if you do ask a question, though, with the exclamation point Q thing, the bot will pick it up, but I don't have that open. So anyways, let me take a look at it. Oh, we got Kyle here from Tiny Machines. Welcome, Kyle. Nice to see you here. That avatar looks familiar. And who else do we have in the chat here? See, we got Kyle and Jonathan, some of our regulars here. Jerry over at 3DHP, Miko, I see my buddy Gabe here, Mr. 3D Printed Visions, or sorry, Printed Visions 3D. And then is Mr. Rain here? Mr. Rain's here. Nemo Griff, Tor's in chat. If you guys have dealt with our support people, Tor is one of our support guys. I'm also looking around because I don't have a bottle opener, but that's okay. We got side cutters here. We're gonna make do. I mean, at least these will open a bottle. They're like the printer snips. How many of you guys have like a billion of these blue side cutters laying around your areas with your printers? All right. So we're just going to unbox everything. We're going to build it, and then we're going to do a test print with its stock, see how the experience is. Now, this does have a color touchscreen. One of the reasons we picked this up is because we are going to be working on a touchscreen replacement for it, just like we do with a lot of the other machines, because the touchscreens come with a closed source firmware that you can't do too much with, not as much as the other screens that are out, you know, like even the color screens that come on like the Ender 3S1 or the Ender 3 V2. But we're going to look at putting a 128/64 on here at some point. So, let's see. Who else do we got in here? Ballistic Tech looks familiar. The name is escaping me. Yes, and this will be recorded and available later. So this will also show up on, this is on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, and it's also cross-posted out to Odyssey and Rumble as well if you guys use those platforms. Basically, the replay gets uploaded automatically to all the other platforms after we're done streaming. So, I see Midwest RC saying, we need to get Anycubic to give the source code for the Cobra series for the printers. Yeah, I don't have time for that, but if you guys bought one of those printers or a printer in general that you guys don't have source code for, bug the crap out of the manufacturer. There was a time back in, I think it was 2018. Is there 2018, 2017, somewhere around there, where I did start, you know, kind of a little movement within the 3D printing community to go after the companies for the source code, and that's what originally got Creality to comply with it, and we were shocked that they actually did, but they've gotten more lax, and all these other companies have been dropping the ball on that. So I try to just highlight printers that don't have source code. I haven't looked up to see if the Ender 7 has source code or not, but it is already supported in Marlin, so we don't really need to do too much with it in terms of finding pin information because it's already been documented. Whether that came from Creality or community members, I'm not sure, but I do know that its board is supported in Marlin already. So, all right, let's see. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to the arm cam here. And I remembered my wireless microphone at the last minute so that things are not cutting out. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at what's inside here and see how big of a pain this is going to be built or not. This is a giant box. Like, this is one of the larger machines I've received. And I'm hoping this all made it here in one piece. Creality does typically pack their printers fairly well. So I'm going to unbox this onto the table. We're going to go over everything that's in the box one by one, and then we're going to build it. So since this is such a large machine, I'm going to get everything on the table, and then we're going to go over, and I'll just kind of mention what these are. So we got a baggie here that's got the manual, so we're set that over here because we want to go ahead and take a look and see what's inside here for the build information. Is this a half kilo? Yeah, it's a half kilo of filament. I like this, especially on these higher end machines. It's nice to include a bigger roll. I'm assuming this is an accessory package here. We'll go through this in a second. And then it looks like we got the top here, which we do. And we will be keeping angle grinders away from this printer. So if any of you guys were worried about that, there are no angle grinders in the room. We will keep it far, far away from this. So, all right, let's keep going here. It's like multi-level packaging here. Or packing, I should say. I'm assuming this is an upright. It looks like an upright. We got the bed. Okay, here's our bed. And what else we got going on? We got the Z, so it's a single Z. I believe the Tiny Machines kit adds multiple Z motors to this, if I'm correctly remembering. Chris just said, hey, I got an upgrade kit for the Ender 7, and I was like, I will take it because I want it to be the best. All right. More uprights. Filament spool holder. I'm assuming this is like some panel of some sort. But like I said, there's another layer. What is this? 3 layers? 4 layers? I lost count. But I think all we got left is the base here. And that looks to be it. I'm going to lift the foam up. And yeah, there's nothing else in there. So here we go. Here's all of the parts for the Ender 7. And we're going to take a look here and go over everything that's inside. And then we're going to take a look at the manual and see how the heck we're going to build this thing. So let's get to it here. So you see here we got our top, a panel. We're going to see what's in the box here. And we got a power cable, baggie of screws, and they're all labeled. And now there's not a physical label on here, but there is printing on the bag, which is great. Looks like some spare nozzles, card reader, your standard fare, some Bowden tube clips. This says cable pressing buckle, so I'm assuming this is like for cable management. And then we've got our little tool set here. I'll probably grab my own tools just because I hate using these little Allen keys. And then we got the spool holder here, or part of it. And a scraper. How many of these do I have laying around? I lost count. They're everywhere. I don't use them anymore because we use the Easy Flex plates. So, all right. Let's take a look at the manual and see what we got here. Kyle Davis says it's a single sync stepper. Okay, that's perfectly fine with me. I prefer stuff that's a mechanical linkage for the Z because it's easy to just lock it in and be done with it. We don't need the after-sales service card because if there's an issue, I'm going to give Chris a jingle. All right, let's see. Now, we got just a general overview of the machine. Nothing really exciting here, just the specs. So the print volume, according to this, is 250 by 250 by 300. So it's a little bit bigger than the Ender 3 in all directions, but not quite a CR10 size. And then, let's see. So it says we should have the base frame, the printing platform, the toolbox, filament, Z-axis component, Z-axis cover here. You can see that. And then we've got the 2 Z-axis profiles, the top component, and the filament holder. So we got all that. Looking at the tool list here, looks like we got everything in there, as far as I can tell. And so let's just run through the build first. So they're going to want us to put the Z upright on first. We're going to use some M5 by 18 screws and one of these serrated lock washers. And that's interesting because they're telling us to put it on one particular screw there. You see it's the back right screw is getting that lock washer. And then we're going to bolt down the other 2 uprights here on the left and right. So we got the 3 posts. It's kind of like a 3-post design. And then we're going to drop the bed on. That's going to go on with 8 M4x6 screws, as you can see here. And what else? And then there's 4 more M4x6s going into the rear of the bed. So this looks like it's pretty solid here. And I'm assuming with the Tiny Machines kit is going to make it even more rigid. And then you pop the top on. I'm assuming just a couple more screws. And then all the cables and the filament sensor, or the filament holder, I should say. So we're going to walk through this. And they're pretty detailed here. They even show you how to do the cable management. So let's just get into it and see what's going on. No grinder Sawzall upgrade. No, we're not taking any big power tools to this machine. Yeah, no, I'm gonna pass on that. So all right, let's just move some stuff out of the way here because I only have so much working surface on my my bench here. And we're gonna need the M5 by 18s, which those are these guys here. So these are the black ones. And then it looks like there's our lock washers, like they were saying. So we're going to need one of these and 4 of those. Those being the M5 by 18. So let's go ahead. And I just like to toss all the little baggies off to the side when they're no longer being used, so they stay out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and get 4 screws out of here. And hopefully I put all my Bonhus drivers back. Is that the correct one? Yeah. So I usually use, especially if I'm like working on a printer directly, I do use our tool set. But when I'm doing a printer build, it's just quicker to use the dedicated drivers. Obviously, though, you have to have multiple drivers. It's kind of a pain, but it makes it quicker. All right. And this is nice. These actually screw in from the top. Oop. Go ahead and move that out of the way. You know, this is probably the first printer I've done that actually consumes most of this, most of the desk here. So I'm going to try to get this all focused in for you guys so you can see. And look at that chunky Z stepper. Yeah, that should be good as long as we got enough current going towards it. I'm assuming we have to pull this out of here. Yep, there's our ribbon cable. I'm not a fan of ribbon cables in general. You guys should know that by now. I'm not quite sure why they're having us put this lock washer on this one screw out of all of them. It's shown in the guide that it should be this one right here. Doesn't make sense to me, but hey, it's in the guide. We're gonna do it. So, all right. Now, I'm not actually going to tighten these down all the way until we get the top on. And the reason for that, and I do this with a lot of the builds, is we want to be able to like move things around and get everything squared up. Now, since I see the Z goes right here, I'm going to go ahead and plug the Z motor in right now, just so it's one less thing to do later. We're going to tuck the extra wire in there, and we're going to leave all these loose, and then we're going to come back and tighten everything up once we're done. So, all right. The thing is, like, they have lock washers on these bolts already. There's just a serrated one. Grounding done for electrical contact. That is a good hypothesis. I could see that. So it like bites in to the through the anodizing. But I mean, the bolts are also anodized, so I don't know how much of a help that's going to be. You know what I mean? So. But that is a good point that maybe they did that just so it can get some grounding. Now, I have noticed, you guys noticed when we did the Ender 2 Pro review, they are taking grounding a little more seriously. I don't know if this has a Meanwell in it or not. If we look on the side here, and we'll find out when we open it up, I am going to set the voltage now to 115. It's set to 230. I can't tell by looking in it if it's a Meanwell or not. I do believe it's probably going to be something in the LRS series, just like all the other ones. All right, so at this point, I'm going to need 8 more of the M5x18s. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Had to grab some of my beer. Burr. What's up? Oh, I didn't even see that because it doesn't show up on Restream. Restream, why do you not show super chats? I appreciate that, Derek. Okay. One thing to note, and I noticed this because these were both different. So one end has a screw on the top, the other end does not. The one without the screw is the one that goes towards the actual base. So when you guys are putting that together, make sure you check. And they do actually point it out here. They don't say, hey, make sure that the screw is up, but it is highlighted here. Enjoy the build. I'll go to sleep now. Yeah, you can always watch the VOD. All of our live streams have a video replays, so you can go back and watch them. But yeah, 4:29 a.m. I know that feeling. I'm a night owl myself. So, but yeah, at a certain point you got to go, okay, it's getting late. It's time for bed. So I'm just curious, just like a show of hands, how many people here prefer to be up at night versus during the day? I'm just curious. Like, how many of you guys prefer to be up at night versus day? Because I don't dislike being up during the day, but I find I'm more productive at night. I don't know why. One of the things I did learn is that, you know, especially people who have like ADHD, your sleep cycle is kind of offset versus others, which is kind of weird. But I felt like it was, you know, adding me, because they're like, oh yeah, you know, you're normal, you know, if you have ADHD, your sleep cycle will tend to fall between like 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. and getting up around 10 or 11. And I'm like, that's almost exactly where I fall if I just, you know, do whatever and go to sleep when I'm tired type of thing. So you will not crack an egg on me. And we are not turning the panda into the cheese, a knockoff of the cheese panda, okay? I do not want to have the printing panda become the angry cheese panda. Oh my god. You've alerted Remo. Here, I'll pop my main camera on so you guys see. Oh, you probably can't. Remo came in. He's like, you guys are having fun without me. You guys are having fun without me. Okay, so this is interesting. So, like I said, I purchased this from Tiny Machines. So, they're a company out of Texas. They're really good people. So, if you guys are looking for a Creality printer and want actual service and support, I highly recommend checking them out. Like, we're not getting any kickbacks from them. You know, in full disclosure, I've known Chris for a number of years, and, you know, he's a friend of mine. But he runs a very good company. And if you guys are looking for a Creality printer but don't want to have to be out in the cold if you need help, I'd highly recommend checking them out, because they're a little bit more than what you'll pay on Creality site or, you know, any other reseller site, but you get the service. You know, they're kind of like us, but for printers, for entire machines. And they even have upgrades too you can put on. But I point this out because if you notice in the guide, it says to use the screws. The screws are down here because they test all their machines before they get out to you. So you don't have to have the game of Russian roulette to figure out if you're going to have a machine that works. So it's tinymachines3d.com. They're very good people. Chris runs a very nice and well-run company out there. And like I said, he's actually who I bought my first Creality printer from before this, you know, my own company even existed. And he's just good people. So if you guys are looking for a U.S. reseller that will actually, you know, support what they sell, but you still want to get a Creality machine, it's definitely highly recommended to check them out. So, and it looks like Tor posted a link in the chat there. So I do want to highlight this, and I am liking this because this is, I think this is on the S1 as well, the Ender 3 S1, and I think the Ender 3 or Ender 2 Pro. These nice, big, beefy cable strain release. I do like these. And it looks like we've got the aviation style connector like we saw on the CR10s. So we're going to put this bed on now. So I took the screws out, and Krista, I think I just dropped one of the screws. Can you, one of these? I think it went over there. I heard it hit. The cable flew. All right. Let's go ahead and get this in there. I can't remember. I think I paid close to what they retail for. I think it was like 600. Pull up Tiny Machine's site on your computer there, Krista, and let me know. I want to say it's definitely one of Creality's more premium machines. You know, you're not talking Ender 3 beginner level territory, but this is a better quality machine. Yes, the Ender 7. Yeah, they're 750. So, we're gonna see, and I'm gonna see if this is worth it. Now, this is a Core XY printer, so what that means is just like the Ender 6, you can get faster print speed out of it, and it's just a quicker kinematic system than like a Cartesian machine like the Ender 5 or the 5 Plus, that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and get in here, and we're gonna put the screws in here. I already put a couple here to hold the bed. So there's 2 over here, there's 4 here, and then 2 more over there. So 8 total screws. And you can see here there's marks from where it was assembled previously. So like I said, Chris and his team, I should say, it's more than just Chris. Chris and his team test all these machines before they go out the door. So hopefully that means I should get a nice working printer out of the box, which would be relatively rare for most of the printers we review on this channel, if you guys have been around for a while. Now, I'm not going to put all these in tight, just like I did the uprights, just yet, because I'm going to put these rear ones in. There's 2 on either side here, and I'm going to let that pull the carriage back, and then I'm going to tighten the top ones here. And this little stuff I do just when I'm building printers that I've learned over the years, just to help with getting things aligned properly, and making sure everything's squared up. And just like little things like that definitely make a big difference. But, you know, none of the guides will tell you, hey, you know, leave everything loose. You know, I think I've seen that in one machine. I can't remember which one that was. But that's one thing I do like doing, just because it gives you a little more flexibility to get everything lined up. And then, you know, you're doing it once. You're not having to go back and square everything up, if that makes sense. So, let's see here. All right. So I am going to tighten these down here, because like I said, I want to pull this whole carriage towards these supports, and there's another one here on the other side. We're going to put 2 screws in, and then I'm going to go back and tighten all these up. And then once we get the top on, I'm going to come back and tighten these bottom screws up on all these uprights. And like I said, this is just a little thing I do when I'm building a machine, just to make sure that everything's all square and everything's lining up correctly. So you can see it pulled it. You might not be able to see it, it's very slight, but I can see it here, pull the carriage in. So now we're going to go ahead and tighten these down. And this is wobbly because I don't have these tightened down. So if people are just joining us and wondering, man, that Ender 7 bed's quite wobbly. So that's why. It's still not tight. All right. Now, one thing I did notice, and I'll see if I can do this again. Okay, is watch when I went to go tighten this down, and it actually pulled the bracket in. Did you see the bracket shift? So when I see stuff like that, I'm going to go around here and just kind of tighten them up. If you guys have ever put on like a tire on your car, and you kind of go back and forth and do it in like a rotation here, that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to get this one down. I'm not going to tighten these down fully. I'm just going to kind of work them in. Come back here, do this other side here. And repeat, and this just kind of helps everything come together nicely. And now that these all 4 are tightened, I'm going to go ahead and just tighten them down all the way. And this is one of the reasons, especially when I'm building printers, I do like using these bigger screwdrivers, is because you can get more grip on them. You know, the small screwdriver sets are nice for, you know, day-to-day repairs and upgrades, but like building a printer, I do like the beefier ball ends here. So, all right. So this is, aside from this being loose, this is actually all very solid here. We will go back and adjust the eccentric nuts. So I'm already on step 5, so we're right here. So we just put the bed on and the top screws here, and now we put the bottom screws on. I am going to connect the power here, and this is not following the directions. I just like to connect cables so I don't forget later on, you know, because there's no reason not to do it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this up. And then we're going to keep working through the guide. So what's the next one here? The next one is we're going to put the top part on here. And then we're going to put 4 M5x18 screws. And again, one of those washers on the back screw, just like we did. So basically opposite at the top of that extrusion. And I do think, was it Jonathan that said they are probably for grounding, if he had to guess? I think that is a good guess as to why they did it. So we're going to take the top and we're going to set it on here. And you've got the cable connector here at the back. All right. Look at that. The wires get in the way. So when you guys are putting these on, make sure you're paying attention. You don't want to pinch any wires here. It looks like there's just wires on the back. All right. had some foam in there. But all right. I don't care. All right, so I'm going to count out. We're going to need 12 screws total, 4 for each one, and then one of those lock washers, or the serrated lock washers here. And I'm just going to put the screws in. I don't think we have a 250 by 250 build plate. I don't know if the plate is physically 250 by 250. A lot of the times, you guys have noticed, a lot of times the printers will have larger physical beds than your print area is, and that's completely normal. I think they do that just because it allows them to kind of standardize on 1 or 2 sizes for their production for multiple models, and it also gives you a little leeway in terms of, you know, your print area, and if everything's not perfectly put together, you know, and you're always going to have some sort of variances when you're building, you know, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of printers like Creality is. So I will measure this bed to find out if we do already carry a flex plate for it. If we do, I'll let you guys know, and we'll get a product page created. If not, I don't know if we'll get custom sizes made, but we already have like the 260 by 260, which was originally for the G-Tex, and that's actually what I'm using on my Ender 9, or Ender 9, my Ender 6. So if we have something that's close enough, you can always go a slight size up on a flex plate. As long as it doesn't hang over by more than, like, you know, 5 to 10 millimeters on each side. So, all right. Got 2 more screws over here, and then we're gonna just make sure everything's squared up. And what I mean by that is I make sure all these surfaces are flush. So the face of this piece is flush with the base, and at the top and everything. And then we're gonna go around and tighten everything up to make sure it all works. Now, I will say my initial impressions of the physical build quality of this are actually pretty nice. Like, it feels really well built. I do see why, though. They had the bed made, the bed kit. I don't know if you saw when I was turning, it kind of moved, but a lot of the cantilever beds do that. And the thing is, it's always better to have multi-point mounting on your beds. But, you know, if your printer's sitting stationary, it's not a bad thing. Usually it's not going to cause any issues. Threads on that one are really tough. I'd really crank that one down. These are nice and smooth. And no, I did not cross-thread it. Now, I have the Ender 6, and I'm a big fan of the Ender 6. And the Ender 6 is a Core XY machine, but the Ender 6 is not a linear rail-driven one. It's a V-slot wheels. And this I'm looking is actually linear rails. So if you guys are looking for a Core XY with linear rails. Now, here's the thing I noticed. Do you guys see that there's a fan here on the extruder? This tells me that they were having overheating issues with this extruder. Now, they did the same thing on the Ender 7 that they did on the Ender 6, which is, let's just make it look beefier by putting an oversized motor on here. You do not need a big motor on here to drive the filament. If you look on our channel, the Ender 6 actually benefited more from a geared extruder and a smaller stepper than a larger extruder. So, all right, let's get these tightened down here. No, this is a Bowden system. This is not a direct drive system. All right. And this feels pretty good here. Go ahead and tighten these down. These feel really solid. Now, the only downside of this over the 6 is the 6 is really easy to enclose. And if you guys have a 6 and you're looking to enclose it, we do actually have our Ender 6 enclosures on sale right now for $179 instead of $200 right now. And that sale lasts until the end of the month. So a couple more days here. All right, just let me reposition my camera here. And we'll go ahead and keep getting these all tightened up. And then I think the next step will be getting the cable run up here and connected in. And then we should be getting pretty close to being done. I cannot imagine trying to do this whole thing with the dinky little Allen keys they give you. I really should put a link to these in the description because I'm a big fan. These are not cheap. There's like a $40 set, but it's a whole set of these Bondhus ball end Allen keys, and they're made in the U.S. too. They're very good quality. I've had this set for 2 years now, I want to say, and they just last. So, yeah, here we go. Bondhus, made in America. America. You guys can finish the rest. We're going to try to keep this mostly PG rated. And for, if there are any children watching, I'm drinking grape soda. It's just a fancy grape soda that comes in a glass bottle. The brewing company makes this great grape soda. Shouldn't they give torque specs by now? How many of you guys would actually follow torque specs? Let's just be honest. Like, I'm willing to bet, like, no one. I'll be honest, I wouldn't. I would not follow torque specs. For building a printer, like, I would not. I'll just be honest with you guys. All right, so, she's sturdy. All right, let's figure out where we're at now. So, I put all the screws in for the uprights. They want us to put the spool holder in the back corner here, using two M4x10s, which I think are the last two screws in here. Yes, they are. And are these 2.5 mil? They are 2.5 mil. I feel like the 2.5 mil hex wrenches are like the 10 millimeter sockets of the 3D printing world. You guys know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're the 10 mil sockets. They're like those and the twos. 2.5 and 2 millimeters are like gold. Those are the ones that you always use. Like, most of the screws on your printer are the 2.5 and the 2 millimeter hexes, you know. And occasionally you'll have the threes. Like, I was using, I think, the 3 or the 4. I think I was using both. I used the 3 earlier, and then I used the 3 on the beds, and then the 4 on the frame bolts. So far, I'm really liking how this is coming together. And it's nice to see that there are some wear marks on this printer, indicating that Tiny Machines tested it before going out. So I will gladly, you know, if I'm not doing like a lower end printer review, I'll gladly pay a little extra to get something that's going to work. So maybe this isn't an accurate review of the Ender 7, because if you don't buy it from Tiny Machines, we all know Creality's QC is terrible. Like, is that not fair? It's like, oh, this thing is great, it works. Oh, yeah, it was tested in here by people in the US who know what they're doing, so I would hope so. Like, all right. So, the next thing we need to do is put the Z-axis cover. Oh, that's what that is. It's a cover for the Z. That is nice. So, they're trying to get things looking a little more professional. Okay. So, we're going to put a little cover here to cover up these screws. All right. So, and it looks like, where's it going to go here? Looks like it's going to go with the little fins towards the front of the bed. Is that the case? I think that's the case. All right. That does look nice. Okay. I'll roll with it. It does clean it up. All right. So what do we want? They want us to put the cable up the back of the printer and plug it in. We're going to connect the heated bed cable. We already did that. Adjust the eccentric nuts. So we're going to adjust the nuts, and then we're going to plug it in. So that was a pretty quick build in terms of a physical printer build. I don't quite know how long that took, but I feel like that wasn't that much. But I was also talking through the whole thing, which makes it go a little bit faster. All right. Okay, so this little ribbon cable. Now, here's the thing. This is not moving. So I'll be forgiving on this. I don't like when these cables are on moving parts because they're a pain in the ass to replace and repair, and they wear out. But I'll not dig on this because it is a stationary cable. So for this use case, this is not terrible. But like on the Ender 3S1, I would put money on that we're going to see, you know, as the printers get older and older, more time on them, even mine, we're going to start seeing failures with those cables, and you know, you're going to have to go buy, you know, OEM cables from Creality, because it's just going to be a pain in the ass to try to fix it yourself. These type of cables are not easily serviceable in general. So just something to know. But in a situation like this where it's stationary, I don't mind it. So it's just when this is on a moving head or a gantry, that's where you start getting more issues, because it's moving back and forth. So these are typically used for stationary stuff like this, but the Chinese like to use random connectors, you know, like USB-C or HDMI, if you know, you really have no idea what you're doing. You guys know who I'm talking about. You know, in applications they're not really designed for. So, all right. Let's see. Okay, I'm just making sure there's nothing else I missed. We're going to adjust the eccentric nuts, and I don't feel like digging through their bin of stuff. Oh, I thought I had my eccentric wrench out, but apparently it is elsewhere. And I just heard a blow-off valve go off in my office. Oh, sorry, that was just Chris sneezing. Thought there was a Subaru pulling up. A Subaru. Okay, so the eccentrics are pretty good on here. Now, these are the only V slots on here. The Z is not a V slot, or not a linear rail. But this is not, you know, moving fast, so I don't really care. I'm not going to dig them on this. I'm just going to go here and adjust them just like I do all the other machines and kind of feel for it. Let me see if I can get a tighter shot on there. And basically, what you're looking for is, if you see here, see how the wheel doesn't move when I put my finger on here, but if I grab it, you can get it to like break loose. That's what you want. Like, especially right here. Now, if it just spins freely, it's a little too much. So you want, that's how I set my eccentric nuts. So like that bottom one was a little too loose. This one was a little bit too tight. Same goes for this one. Just adjusting this here. And we'll go a little bit further. I am happy with those. Now, here's the thing. This did tighten up a little bit when I adjusted the other one. When you guys are adjusting your eccentric nuts, as you play with the other ones, you might find the other ones change their tension in either direction, either getting tighter or looser, depending on what direction you're adjusting the other ones. So, at this point, that's the entire build. So, fairly easy build. There's a lot of screws, but in terms of complexity, not very complex at all. What do you guys think? What do y'all think? All right. And we're going to have... I got to get these on camera for you guys. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get some hot peeling action here. Ooh, those are sharp. I hate these clips. I'm always afraid I'm going to, like, slice my fingers. Ooh. All right. Okay. Oh ho ho. You guys all know this will only be kept on here for the test print. And then once it goes into my fleet, we're going to put a flex plate on it. Now, let's see. What size is this plate? We're at 280. 280 by 280. So we have a 290 by 290. I'm probably just going to throw the 290 by 290 on here. We're going to see how our clearances are. And call it a day. Because if we do a 290 by 290, you're talking 5 millimeters overhang on either side, which is nothing. It'll be fine. All right, and the last one here. There we go. Is the bed square with the back rail? Eyeballing it looks like it, but really it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this bed is actually tilted out or not. It's not going to affect print quality at all. So one of the benefits of having one that the bed drops on versus one that is a bed flinger. But even then, it doesn't really make that big a difference if your bed's crooked, if you think about it, other than cosmetically speaking. All right. I'm going to plug her in the moment of truth. See what happens. All right, select the language. English. I do not speak Espanol. That'd be rough. I'd have to have like people translate. All right, so what do they tell us to do first before I go pressing buttons? I am going to try. Let's make sure everything heats first. So I'm going to go ahead and do a manual nozzle preheat. So like this is the one thing that is faster on touchscreens is punching this in, and that's basically where everything good stops, in my opinion. Is that like that's what's quicker. Everything else is a little more limited. Now I don't see that this has a Tiny Machines firmware on it, so I don't know if they like reflash the boards and stuff. I don't know if Kyle's still in the chat, if they send out all their printers with the Tiny Machines firmware, if that's like an upcharge or whatever. Is a bed square to the back rail? I think, doesn't this have auto leveling? Does this not have auto leveling? I mean, the Under 6 didn't have auto leveling. I don't think this has auto leveling. Oh, we're definitely going to get a screen kit going for this so we can put an easy ABL on here. Is anybody here watching? Do you guys already own an Ender 7? Like, this is still an active model. This is a relatively recent one. So we are heating up. It's heating up pretty quickly. We're going to make sure that this goes all the way to temp. I am going to change the preheat to like 220 though. 240 is a little high. I'm used to printing ABS. So do one on touchscreen, please. You said please, so I'll do it. There we go. We'll zoom in on the touchscreen. All right. Yeah, so you got your current temp, your target temp. Let's test the fans. They're doing fan stuff. Now, this has dual fans. Oh, no, it's vibrating. Ooh. They're working, but they're definitely vibrating. I think it's the covers on these. But these are moving a shit ton of air. I think this will get pretty good print quality out of the box. These layer fans are, as my boy AVE would say, they chooch. Any AVE fans here? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? If you see smoke, it's not from the printer. We're reviewing a Creality here tonight, not an ANET. Yeah, Tor, it's a 280 by 280 bed size. That it is. Oh my god, what is happening? My phone is sending me messages, but it's not even in the same room. Technology. All right. Let's see. All right, so heating done. I mean, I wouldn't call it done, but I mean, the nozzle's done. So things are working. What do they want us to do for the initial setup here? Okay, so it says bed leveling. So they're going to have you level bed. So it says setting, leveling. This is saying auto leveling. There's no auto leveling sensor on here. What the hell? Aux leveling? Do you have to press aux leveling? Does this have? This looks like this is Creality firmware. Hang on, leveling, unless the date's outdate. Now, auto leveling, I can't turn auto leveling on, so I wonder if this is just like a future thing, because I know they have certain kits like you can use for like the BL Touch and stuff. So I'm gonna click aux leveling. Okay, that'll take me to the spot it shows on the guide here. So you guys see here. There we go. on this, the Revo on here, I don't know if this will take the Revo. I think this has got a different hot end. I think we were planning on putting the Revo, the Creality Revo, which we do have. Yeah. I think we're looking at putting this on the Ender 2 Pro to test it out. So all right. We're going to home this. This is a very slow homing speed. Now you get to watch me level bed. Oop. You guys see one other peel I forgot to do. Right here. The Ender logo. This is like the worst transfer tape. Oh, man. Creality loves their, like, chrome logos. I remember they had this on a bunch of other machines. There we go. Someone says it does have a different hot end. I'd be curious to see if the Revo fit, though. Okay, so my nozzle is touching the bed, so I'm going to go ahead, and I should have done this before I homed, although they don't tell you to. I was following the directions because the nozzle's touching the bed, and if you guys home a printer, especially these glass beds, and you see the nozzles touching, drop the bed down before you do anything because you will scratch the living crap out of it by dragging itself around. So we're going to go ahead and level it manually like peasants here since we don't have an ABL sensor. All right, so aux leveling 1, which is in the back. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab a little post-it here. And we're going to get this to grab the paper. And we're going to go around and do this a couple times. So I'm going to go to the front here, do the same thing. All right. Number 3. And we're going to check all these again because just like when you adjust the eccentric nuts, you're going to find that the other corners will change based on the leveling of the ones you've already done. I do hear something vibrating on this hot end though. I think it's these like metal covers they have over the fans for some reason. Unless it's just these style fans. I don't know if they're metal or plastic, but there's like little covers on them. All right, so I'm getting good grab over there. We'll go back and we're going to do it one more time. See, and I'm completely far away on this one now. Now, just a little bit. And this one's too close now. Yay, manual bed leveling. All right, 3. And again, we're too close, so I'm going to bring it down. And since we were so far off on this go around here, I am going to check it one more time just to be sure. All right, we're grabbing. That one's real tight. All right, and the last one. That one also is really tight. All right, so that's pretty good. Let's check our home position. Why is it? And we are grabbing in the center. So it's not as tight as the outside edges, but that's to be expected. A lot of these printers do not have flat beds, even with the glass. They do tell you how to level the bed. If I went to the next step, they do tell you how to adjust everything. by turning the knobs and leveling the bed here. Now, I will say for $750, I would like to see this come with a I would like to see this come with an auto bed leveling sensor, especially since they have their own one. I think this came out before the CR Touch, but still. So here we go. We've got how to load the filament, and they do have my little trick here for smoother filament load. Cut it at a 45-degree angle. This is a really good tip. I use this all the time. So they're telling you different ways to preheat it. We're already preheated here. So there's different ways. There's like an auto preheat. I don't know how that determines it. I think that just goes to like a PLA preset or something. And then, yeah, they show you how to load the printer, load the filament. They show you how to use their their version of Kira. So yeah, at this point, we're gonna pop the SD card in, which I don't even think I found that. Here it is. We're gonna pop the SD card in, and we're gonna see if they have anything pre-sliced, and we're gonna print something from them. Because that's what a new person would do. That's what I did. I remember when I built my ANET A8, they actually came with a pre-sliced filament. So, or not filament, but pre-sliced, a pre-sliced G-code. This is interesting. So this printer also has a USB-C port on it instead of a micro one, but they actually don't give you a USB-C cable. And I wish I had my camera pointed at the screen because I was trying to get it to read, and the board just reset. So that's great. All right. So we are going to go ahead. I'm going to do the automatic. What does the automatic do? Okay, PLA or ABS. We'll do PLA. Man, the PLA preheats are really low. 195 and 45 on the bed. We're going to do 220 on the hot end and 60 on the bed because that's typically what most people use. We're going to load the filament up, and we're going to use what they give us here. And Remo is a fat ass and thinks that the sound of the crinkling bag is his treats. All right. I'm trying to get the filament off the end here. And they do give you snips, but I'm just going to use my random snips I have laying around here. And I think I saw a test file on the SD card. And then once we get this going, then I'm going to hang out with you guys and chit-chat while this does its first print. All right, so we do have a filament sensor. I do not use printers without filament sensors now. If a printer doesn't have a filament sensor, it does not have the right to enter into my my fleet. All right. So let's go ahead. That was easy to insert, and this is their like dual drive gear style one. Ooh, that's a little crunchy. I don't know what that was getting hung. I don't know what that was getting hung up on, but Krista even heard it. It was so loud, like it was crunching up on something. I'm not a big fan of these extruders. They are better than, most of the stock crap they give you, but yeah, I'm not a fan. Okay, here's what I don't like. Okay, those of you guys who know how to use a printer, you would expect that if you press Z, this is going to increase the Z height, which should move the bed down. It's backwards. The down arrow actually increases the Z height, which moves the bed down. So this is the direction of the bed. I do not like this because if you know what you're doing, like I was sitting here pressing the Z increase button, and this physically moves the bed up, but it's actually moving the bed a negative value on the actual positioning. So I don't like that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and print this. It looks like whoever tested this ran some orange filament through it because that's what came out on the bed. And go ahead and just purge out a little bit, and then we're going to see what test files are on here. And if there's more than one, you guys will get to pick. How's that? All right. So let's see what we got here in our pre-sliced SD card selection. All right, so I'm gonna go back. Can I do a home? We'll do a home. Just start off with everything at the home position. We're still homing. This is like a very slow Z speed. It likes to take its time. It's like it's in the Midwest, like Indiana Midwest. Like, we'll get there when we get there, but no need to hurry. We're gonna home. Don't you worry about it, okay? Just watch the corn go by. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna hit print, and the only option I have on the SD card is just Rabbit. So guess what? We're printing Rabbit. And it's heating the bed to 65, which is weird. And the fan, this is vibrating like crazy. Like, it turned the layer fans on, I think. Did it? Yeah, it did. My layer fans are vibrating. It's the one on the right. So this fan is already going out. Or there's something stuck in it. I'll have to take a closer look. I don't see anything. So this fan on the right is vibrating already. Now, luckily, these look like the same 4010 fans that they use, which we already carry these. But it's like very loud. I don't see anything in there. All right, we're gonna get the shmoo off the nozzle. All right, now do they have Live Z? They do have Live Z. I do like that. Live Z adjustment is a must. Who let Lightspeed in here? We let anybody on this platform, don't they? The fan is singing the song of its people. It definitely is. I need to take my hat off so I can actually see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, now the fans went down to a lower speed, and now they're off. Okay, we do want a little squish, so you can go in 0.01 millimeter increments. I'm looking at the coupler. It looks like it is squishing it, and I'm looking at the first layer. It does look like it's giving a little more squish. So we do have Live Z adjust, which is a huge plus. I'm a big fan of that. So, all right. So now we're just gonna let this print. So I had to go down about 0.1 millimeters to get it to squish. Remember, I said it was a little bit further on the bed. You know, that extruder is noisy. I heard that retract and extrude just jink jink. It is not silent. It's an average noise level, I would say. It's not a silent. I don't think this has Trinamics on the X and Y. I believe they have something else on here, if memory serves correctly. The motion system looks pretty beefy. So while we're printing this here, if you guys want to take a sneak peek, you can see back there. They're pretty beefy. Let me see if I can switch this into manual focus mode so you guys can see. Like, you can see the motors and the belts. So they got the 10 millimeter wide Gates belts, which they also use on the Ender 6. And I've had some people tell me these are actually too big, but you can see the two motors back there for the X and Y motion for the Core XY system. But we're gonna try to focus in here on the print. So let me lock my camera in right here. We're going to go ahead and just lock in on the print. Now, luckily, since this is a Core XY, it should be easy to keep it in focus. So there we go. It is laying down that first layer quite nicely. Looks like it's not quite sticking in one spot. I do have a nice squish on there. I'll give it a little bit more, just a little bit. a little bit more squish to get it to adhere better. My experience with these glass plates, like we do have a competing thing, like an upgrade plate called our EasyFlex system. But my experience with these type of plates is that you either get really good adhesion or you don't really get any. There's kind of no in between. It really depends on the filament you're printing. So I've had very hit and miss with that. Now I'm just looking at the motion system. Like it looks really nice. We got linear rails on the X and Y. Everything's greased pretty well. We got Gates belts on here. Like these look to be actual Gates belts, which is good. So you'll get a long belt life out of here, and they're not going to stretch out too much. We got all aluminum parts here. There's no I don't see any printed parts on this. I don't see any printed parts on this printer, at least up here on the important stuff. So the one thing I will gripe about is the idlers. If you guys look, the idlers, if my camera would zoom out, they're plastic, just like on the Ender 6. I would like to see metal idlers, especially for a more premium printer like this is. This is what I would definitely call a premium printer, because these at Tiny Machines are $750. And I think I'm gonna check Creality's site right now. I don't know what Creality sells them for. Like Tiny Machines will be a little bit more expensive just because they are in the US here, and they are going to do more QC, do more tech support and stuff. So I want to see what their retail is. This is their info page. It's funny, they claim that this will go up to 250 millimeters a second. So Creality, wow, that's a big price difference. Were you looking at the right Ender 7, Chris? Because Creality's showing this for $489. That's crazy. Let me see. Does Tiny Machines include any upgrades? That's what I want to see. So Tiny Machines says, so I think I might have just got a base model from him. It says fully upgraded and tested in the product description here. What do they include? I'm looking here. Purchase, upgrade, and fully tested Ender 7 3D printer for Tiny Machines for easy assembly and use. Quality control guaranteed. Free shipping. We're making modification machine for ease of use and accessibility. For maintenance, additional time is needed to complete these changes. I'm seeing what stuff they're talking about here, and what they give you over the stock machine that right now on Creality's site is $489. That's not a terrible price for the base machine. I want to find out, hey Chris, if you're watching, you need to make it more clear what you guys are doing over stock, because it should be pretty clear when people go to your site. I think, isn't Creality 3D official that like really crappy reseller, like borderline scam? Or am I thinking of another one? Was like Creality Print.store or something? There's one Creality reseller out there that is shady, and you guys should stay with them, or stay away from them. I'm looking here. I don't know what Tiny Machines is putting on these. I don't know if Kyle's still in here. Yeah, it was 700. So yeah, it's 750, but it says here, I'll just share my screen here. Oh, wrong one. Main screen. So on Tiny Machines here, they say the upgraded fully tested, and we are making modifications to this machine for ease of use. I'm not quite sure what that is. And Chris, if I'm not sure, if Chris watches this, I'm talking like Chris in the chat, but just from a business standpoint, it should be really quickly clear why people would pay an additional premium. Like, obviously, the tech support is a huge thing, and, you know, being in the U.S. is a huge thing. But, you know, you're talking $489 here versus $750. That's a big jump. And you're saying it's upgraded, but I don't see anything. I don't see exactly what that is. Yeah, I clicked features here. It doesn't say here what it is. This is just specs here. So we're going back to the printer here. It is chooching. It is loud. This is not a quiet machine. So if you guys are expecting this to be a quiet machine, the Ender 6 is definitely quieter. We're talking stock for stock, definitely quieter. So people are saying, let's say Ender 7, even though I'm not a big fan of Amazon, there's people selling them for 300 something on Amazon. So yeah, that's hard to justify a double price markup. Unless, I wonder if he's including his dual Z kit already pre-installed on the printer, and that's why it's so expensive. Because I think that dual Z kit, I paid him almost $200 for it, I want to say. I'm trying to find or not the dual Z kit, but it's like a triple Z belted system. I'm looking to see if he even has it on his site. I think when I bought it from him at Murph, which was in June, he told me that they don't have the directions done yet, but the hardware's all complete. Yeah, $329. That's really cheap for this printer. It wasn't that popular of a model, I don't think. Because here's the thing, the Ender 6 is $589, but personally, $329 is a pretty attractive price for this. Even just as a starting point, for like getting yourself a nice upgraded Core XY machine. Now, here's the thing, the Ender 6, I would take an Ender 6 over a 7 solely on the fact that the Ender 6 is really, really, really easy to enclose if for ABS printing, which I use mine for that, and that's got our top enclosure on it, which we do have in stock right now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the nozzle temp up to 230 just to compensate, and we're going to put the print speed up from 100 to 150% and see. Now, it could be capped in firmware depending on how they have it set. But they're saying this will do 250 millimeters a second. I just set this to 150 print speed, so 150% feed rate, and it doesn't seem to be going any faster, which tells me it might be capped in firmware. So let's go to 200 and see. It's very loud. I'll be honest with you. This is a very loud machine. The Ender 6 is definitely quieter. And this is what I don't get with Creality. They had the Ender 6 and the Ender 7. They're, you know, when they first both came out, they're about right around the same price point. I think the 6 might have been a little more expensive, but you'd think, okay, the bigger number should be the better printer, but that's not always the case with their stuff. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So here's the thing. You guys can see it's under extruding on the infill a little bit there. So I'm going to back the speed down. So their 250 millimeter a second claims are absolute bullshit, to be completely frank. Because it's not doing it. I'm watching the extruder. Let's make sure everything's feeding correctly. That motor's warm-ish. The X and Y's are warm-ish. They're not super hot. I can't really touch the Z because it's in there. But yeah, like so far, I mean, physical build quality seems pretty good. $700 is going to be a hard sell without a ton of upgrades. Or $750 if you're buying it from Tiny Machines. But $329 is not bad. Even if you were planning on getting it and changing everything out in terms of electronics. So, what do you guys all think? I talk a lot. Oh, it is definitely louder than a 5 Plus. There's a lot of like, the 5 Plus is not silent stock, but it's also not insanely loud. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff vibrating on here. I don't hate this machine, but I'm not like, oh my god, this is great. I am going to go ahead and bump the speed back down to 100% speed. It was at 120 there for a sec. But yeah, the Creality's claims this is going 250 millimeters a second, like out of the box. That's a lie. There's no way in hell. Like, what market were they trying to target with this thing? Why not just focus your efforts on the under 6? It vibrates a lot. Most of the noise is not coming from like fans or it's not coming from fans or like the steppers. It's coming from vibrations on the machine. Like that's where all the noise is coming from. Hard to get parts for its noise and doesn't print go fast. Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm honestly a little disappointed, to be completely honest. Not saying I won't be able to whip it into shape, but you know, if Tiny Machines is selling these for $750, they better have a ton of upgrades on them. I see why these are not a popular machine. You know, if I would have, I'll be honest, if I would have, well, I did buy this, but if I wasn't buying this to do development on, I probably would have just returned it. There's an $80 off coupon for Amazon. Let me see if I can find, because we do Amazon affiliates. So if you guys, oh yeah, I see it here. So, holy shit, that's cheap. So here you go. I'll post it in here. And this looks like it's coming from Creality. So here you guys go. If you want to pick one up. I mean, at $250, I'm not going to complain about anything I'm complaining about. Let's see if I can actually buy that at $250. At $250, that's a steal. That also tells me if they're if they're selling them for that, they're planning on discontinuing this. Yeah, so here, I'll even show you. Yeah, so $250, absolutely. Absolutely. Just already initially for $250, that's definitely a good deal. I meant to switch to my monitor here. Yeah, $266. That's a good deal. I'd say just looking at it initially without even looking at the electronics, anything under $400 is not bad. That's a really good price. Oop, wrong one. Yeah, I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this. The only reason we bought this was so we can get an LCD kit out for it. That's it. Not because we wanted it or needed it. We wanted to do dev work on it. I think it has a lot of potential, especially with the linear rail system. Like physically built, it seems really well physically built, aside from the vibrations. But physical build quality so far looks pretty good. Joe telling killed this printer for them. Yeah, because he took a freaking angle grinder to it. Like, that was so stupid. Like, but Joel never claims to be an expert on 3D printing tech stuff, you know, in terms of, like, knowing how to build machines. So, yeah, I'm really curious to know what, Tiny Machines is doing to it to justify the $750 price. Because if we were selling it for $750, people would also be asking the same question. Yeah, I think for $250, if you guys are itching for a printer to mod and screw with, go for it. Just right out of the box, like as Tim the consumer. If I didn't already have this and I saw these were $250, I would have bought one just for shits and giggles. I paid a lot more than that for it. I think I paid about $500 something. And this is just the stock machine. But I had this for a while. I got it kind of early. So, yeah, for $250 right now, just parts-wise, let's say you replace the power supply, the control board, the screen, $250 for this physical build platform to build off of? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it is printing. It's very loud, though. That is going to irk me. So I have a feeling this will probably be a printer we're going to have to do a Hangout stream on. But now it's out of the box and looking at me. So I'm going to have to do stuff with it. And that's kind of how I get motivated to actually get things done, is they have to be occupying space in my office. But if you guys are looking for a cheap little printer to mess with, the Intina 2 has been doing very well. And we'll be doing a little Hangout stream next week on this. To get this all wrapped up so I can bring it to its new home. And then I have another one. So maybe should we do another Tina 2? Because this is the Tina 2 with Wi-Fi. The other one's a Tina 2. That's the non-Wi-Fi one. That's like $120. But they're basically the same printer. The difference is the Wi-Fi one has a Wi-Fi chip that is useless. And and the non-Wi-Fi, and it also has the guard in front of the hot end, which I'm not a fan of anyway. So, $250 is a steal on this. Just for if you're looking for a printer to mod, I can have no problem telling you pick it up. If you got $250, burn a hole in your pocket. Absolutely. If you throw a couple $100 more into it, you're still going to have a decent machine. Like, physically, it feels really well built. But do know that it looks like anytime I've seen printers go for super cheap like this, they're usually clearancing them out to get them gone. So, yeah, the Amazon ad says 250 millimeters a second. It's not going to do that. It's a lie, which I called that out when I saw the marketing crap. I will say the hot end cooling setup stock looks really good. It's got a lot of airflow, so no complaints there. It's not terrible. It's just not. I don't see how. I want to know what Chris. I want to know what Chris is doing to justify a $750 price tag on this, unless it's literally just like basically they use an Ender 7 and built a custom machine around it. In that case, I could see it being worth the money if they put a ton of work into making it just an absolute beast. Let me go ahead and have a true STM chip in it. That would be great. We are going to look at that. I'm going to let this go for a little bit longer. Here's what I'm going to do. I got some other stuff to take care of, so I'm going to put some music on. You guys can watch it print for a couple minutes, and then we'll come back. And this looks like it's a large print, so we're probably not going to let this finish. But I'll leave you with some tune skis. I'll get some little stuff done, and I'll come back in like 5 minutes. How's that? So, all right. I'll be back. Let me put some music on. I'll be with you in a moment.
Welcome to the world of MCA Discovision.
To begin playback of a disc, turn the player power on, place the disc on the spindle. Use the play button to start.
Discovision that you be the boss.
Now I'd like to show you some of the valuable things your MCA Discovision system lets you do. Most persons find it more convenient. Gently pull up as you press down on the center shaft with your thumb. You'll hear a click. Simply plug one jack into this outlet. How about that? Pretty easy, isn't it? This red light comes on. Simply press stop. Now, after I've stopped the action, you're going to practice using these buttons. The Discovision player gives you many special capabilities. Stop.
All right, so I was just poking around.
Slow, forward and reverse.
Let me lower the music volume a little bit so it's not overbearing. We do still have rights to use the Anders stuff. If you guys want to check him out, he is on Spotify. It's Anders Enger Jensen. So the music you guys hear at the queue up is actually my buddy's husband, Josh. That's from 0 to Z. They're also on Spotify. And this is Anders Enger Jensen. I actually purchased his whole library of music and asked him, like, hey, would you care if we use your music on our channel? He's like, no, it's fine. So hopefully he remembers that. That was a while ago. Yeah, check him out. So here's the thing. Like I said, this for $250, this is a steal just for a base to build on. And like we all know, a lot of these printers, we buy them with intentions of upgrading them. Because that's where the value comes from. If you want something that's going to print out of the box, there's, you got a lot of different printers out there that offer that, but they're more expensive. Specifically the one I think it's going to change things up a lot is that Bamboo Lab, if it does live up to all the hype. But you also got I'm not a huge Prusa fan. I do have an MK3S, but it is a reliable machine. Even though there may not be the cutting edge, it has been a reliable printer for us. It's in our print farm. But I think a lot of you guys watching, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of us get into this, and the reason I got into the 3D printing space and got so into the printers is tinkering with them is fun. Now, I am more at the point where I want stuff to work, like a lot of people, because I do use them as a tool here for the business and for, my personal projects, but I do still enjoy tinkering with them. So I think at $250, even the fact that this is loud and it vibrates, it's all stuff that can be fixed. But yeah, for $250, I would not complain. I do have the upgrade kit here from Tiny Machines. That's what I was looking up. So those, it looks like they're a pre-order. They're $189. I don't know if he just hasn't updated the site. I'm trying to see if he has documentation here to see what they're doing. So they do have a support page. I'm looking at this on my main monitor while I'm talking to you guys. Seeing if they have the documentation done for that. When I picked this up from him in June, he said that they were still working on the documentation. I don't see anything. I'm going to search. Let's see. I'm just going to search Ender 7 in his help center. I don't see anything. So I'm wondering if they haven't got that done yet. It does look nice. I'll show you guys here. I have not opened the box. But here we go. So you can see here, it adds on a left and right lead screw and a belt drive. You can kind of see that there, which I do think is nice. I do like that, and I have it. I'm going to put it on. So, I'm definitely going to tinker with this and upgrade it. And like I said, we literally bought this just to do development on it, meaning getting a screen on it, getting firmware going to go with that screen, and then getting our easy ABL on here. So for $250, that's not a bad deal at all. But $750, I don't know what their Ender 7s are coming with. I'm trying to see if he has more info, and I'm surprised that he doesn't have... I'm surprised that he doesn't have more information on there. I'm looking... Interesting. Oh, Scott made an appearance. What's up, Scott? I'm trying to find... He's missing a lot of stuff on their site. I know how that goes. Trying to keep sites updated and stuff is a lot of work. I'm almost done with our new help center. Let's see. I'm just looking to see what you guys are chatting about here. We'll just leave the music. Is the music level okay? I'm not going to let this print finish. This clearly is a large print. It is printing. The infill looks a little but this is their file. I like to print. If there's a G-code file, I like to give the printer the best chance possible by using the manufacturer-supplied G-code. So we're going to go ahead and stop this, and we're going to move into taking a look at the electronics. I want to see what's in here. Now, if my memory serves correct, this has a driver, a separate driver system for some reason. I don't know why they did it. Trinamics can easily push these motors. But we're going to go ahead. I'm going to test. I think this set has power resume. We're going to find out, so I'm going to turn it off. Oh, no, we lost power. Let's see what happens. I'm going to turn it back on. All right. I'm going to see if it asks me. Okay, it says resume previous print, so I'm just going to hit yes. And I'm going to see what it does. It says it's heating. So it's heating the bed back up. It dropped 2C in that time. I have a feeling, I don't know if anybody, I don't have any like insider information at Creality, but the fact that there's resellers on Amazon clearancing these out for $250 tells me this is probably going to be a discontinued model, which makes sense. Like, you know, I really do think, I think it was Nemo or someone else said that, yeah, the Joel Tellings video on it kind of killed it. I feel like that's the case. We haven't had too many requests for it. Yeah, it's a little underwhelming, but again, for the price at $250 for something to tinker with, I can definitely say buy at that price. So I think most of you guys can agree that at $250, this would definitely be something worth playing around with and seeing what you can make of it. But definitely not at $500, $600, $700. I think the most I would probably pay for this, with the intention of upgrading it, would be about $300 is where I'd probably set my limit. But let me know what you guys think. You guys are the viewers. It's trying to resume the print right now, so I'm just leaving it as if any end user would do it. I'm not going to touch anything. We're just waiting for the nozzle to get back up to 230. So it's almost there. I'm going to see what it does and get ready to hit the power button, because the print resume stuff is very dodgy on all these machines. So it dropped the bed down. It looks like it's going to home XY. The vibrations on this thing are rough. So it's trying to resume it. There's some shmoo on there. I mean, I guess it resumed. It made a best guess. I'm wondering if it's going to hit that blob on the print. It did. But it did resume actually pretty cleanly. So cheers to that. I've had some really bad resumes. You see how much it's moving that bed when it hits that blob there from where it oozed? So it is printing. I mean, out of the box, it's printing okay. Dear God. Now, since I'm going to cancel this anyways, I want to see how much torque do these motors have. This is actually, holy crap. Okay. Those separate drivers definitely give them a ton of torque. Holy crap. Like, I had to really push on that to get that to loose steps. Okay, so those drivers that they have on here have a lot of holding power. So, all right. I was wondering. I've never felt one, because that's how you can tell. Like, if that was Trinamics, it would have lost steps really quick. So those drivers they have on there are definitely choochy. All right. So let's take a look at what the print looks like, and then we're gonna go look in the bottom of it, and then we're gonna wrap this up after we take a look at the guts. So let me see here. It looks pretty good. The infill here, look at, if you guys see, the infill is very weak. Look at, the infill is garbage. Look at this. So, but this could be tuned out. It's probably just crappy slice from Creality. But yeah, not a good first experience. So, I mean, a better extruder would help this out. Like I said, I'm not a fan of those extruders that they come with. I think our Tough Extruder V2 would be a lot better of a match for this, because it's geared. And here we go. It's stuck on. Let me get this plate off here so I can try to get it to cool down. These do typically want you to wait for the thing to cool down before removing the print. So, all right. She's still warm. All right, let's see if I can get a close-up of here. So the layer lines look pretty good. Let me zoom in. And again, it's white filament. Why do they give you all white filament? Because it's hard to see the layer lines when you're trying to show off a print. So the outside walls look pretty good. So we're not getting any under extrusion on here. The layering's even. So in terms of print quality out of the box, it's not bad. They were running this infill way too fast for this hot end setup. Way too fast. And yeah, the cooling looks good. The overhangs look good. You guys see the butt of the rabbit? Looks fairly good. Sorry if I'm hitting the camera. I'm trying to get this in here. This is just Creality not knowing how to slice a file properly. This is way too fast. But the outside looks good. I don't see any under extrusion on here. So with that being said, I give it average print quality based on this. I'm sure if I threw together a profile real quick and simplify or whatever, I could probably get good quality out of it, out of the box. It's just, there we go. So you can see, look at the overhangs. I told you, the cooling felt really good on this. And that's reflected in the nice overhangs here. Do you see that? So like I said, I think this printer's got a lot of potential. It's just, out of the box, it's loud, it vibrates. You're not going to hit 250 millimeters a second with out of the box. Creality is straight up lying to you. Not going to happen. Maybe it moves. But like the motors, those stepper motors, the drivers they got on these, they hold torque. So that's good. But we're now for the fun part. This is my favorite part, anyways. Is we're gonna go ahead and flip this over, and we're gonna take a look at it. Oh, I should have taken the filament off first. Hang on. Not that I really use their plastic. Hang on. Go ahead and cut this. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the bed wire at the back so I don't accidentally break that connector, because I almost did that when I tipped it back, forgetting that the connector was sticking out of the rear. So all in all, like, the quality seems pretty good of the physical machine. I think it wasn't a popular model. That's why we didn't see a ton of videos on it. I mean, we didn't even bother getting it until I was talking to Chris about doing an LCD kit for it. That's how I ended up purchasing this from him. Was he had asked me about the possibility of doing an LCD kit. So that's why we bought it. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'm assuming it's like all the others. We pop this panel off, and we'll see all the guts. Now, do you guys want to make... who do you guys think it has a mean-well power supply in it? Yes or no? And do you think they tin the wires? Yes or no? Enter your predictions in chat right now. I wonder if they like just put the Ender 7 on sale like recently, or if it's been on sale for a while. I'm not like I haven't been like keeping an eye on deals for printers. But I haven't heard anybody post about it because $250 for this printer is not a bad deal. Not at all. But I would definitely, just like initial impressions, like even considering the higher price on the Ender 6, I would prefer an Ender 6 over this. Just because it's way easier to enclose, and it comes with, you know, the side panels. All you gotta do is get the top enclosure from us, and you're able to print ABS easily with it. All right. Nope. No meanwhile. We got the knockoff in here. And this is interesting. Do you guys see this? They have changed the stepper drivers. The ones I've seen pictures of. I was like, is there a cobweb? Nope, it's just the what's the word I'm looking for? Just the hot glue. The ones I saw had big blocky drivers in here, and these are not that. And you can see here, these are just standard motor connections. You guys see that here? These are just standard motor connections here. There are 4 pins, and they're right here. We got an array of MOSFETs here, so like, yeah, this is their own board too. It's Creality. These are fused at 7.5 amps, and then these are just connectors here. Oh no. I feel like I'm about to be harassed by a panda. Why do you have a box of random filament we had laying around? I'm trying to work here. What? Okay, thank you, Panda. I will put that over here. You were supposed to print stuff with that. Oh, wait, I don't need to take this apart. Okay. This is really weird. You guys see this? Like, there's an IC and then an array of MOSFETs here to control the drivers. Is that a Trinamic logo? It says Germany. I think that's a Trinamic logo on that driver. Yeah, this is really weird. So do you see that mark on there? I'm pretty sure that's Trinamic. I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol and see if I can get the marker off of here. Remo's trying to attack Krista in the panda suit. Ah! He does not like the panda suit. They're 2160As. That's interesting. So they have their own... So these are Trinamic drivers, that's why it's not super loud. These driver boards put out a lot of current. The thing is, I'm willing to bet these wires are tinned, which these, you might be okay with long-term not having issues with them being tinned, but I would like to see them not be tinned. Yeah, this is different from the other Ender 7s I've seen as well. So, make a note, the red wire is on the right for the driver, and these wires are tinned. So, we're going to go ahead and stick those back in. We're going to go over this printer another time. Now, I'm looking here and seeing if we'll be able to do an LCD kit, and I'm actually not sure if we will because there's no header. The header's there, but look what they did. They didn't solder the header onto the board. So I'm actually really disappointed because that's going to make retrofitting an LCD even harder. The header's here, so you could get the header and solder it on, but not many people are going to be able to do that. I'll probably do that, but honestly, I'm wondering if I should even waste any more time on this machine at this point. I'm actually really disappointed. Kind of felt like I wasted my money here because I thought we were going to be able to do this because the older boards had this header on here. So this newer one does not have the header on here. It does have an STM32F103 RET6. But yeah, how are you gonna get an LCD done? And I don't think it's even worth us trying to do anything in terms of a custom board, honestly. Yeah, I'm very disappointed. I feel like this might just end up getting... I'm not going to return it to Chris, but this feels like it was kind of a waste because they've changed so much on it since the last time I saw it. Let's see. Are we able to swap the board out easily? Are the mounting holes in the same locations? They're not. Oh, these assholes. Look at this. The holes. I hate when companies do shit like this. Look at this. So, here, I'm going to pull this out. You'll see what I'm talking about. They could have made it take another board, but they decided to be dicks about it. Let's see. I'll show you guys what I mean here. Because it looks like these line up, but they recessed it into the casing. Let's see if I can move this out of the way to illustrate what I'm saying, or if you're just going to have to take my word on it. Because this is a 427 board I'm saying just for fitment purposes, and sure as shit, the holes line up pretty close. 3 of the holes line up, but you actually can't get to the ports. You cannot get to the ports here. Because if you look at the holes, they're right at the edge of the board on this one, and they're recessed. So good luck. Good luck trying to easily replace the control board. You're not going to have an easy time replacing this. Still, if you're going to go modding it, it doesn't really matter because you're going to be, hacking it up. But in terms of an easy LCD kit, being able to swap it out, this is going to require soldering. Like, you're going to have to solder a header onto this board, which is not hard, to be completely honest, and I have the headers to do that. But in terms of other kits we've done where it's going to be super easy to swap it in, that's not going to be the case for this machine. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I see why this printer's kind of a flop. Like, you can't even easily swap the board out because Creality decided to make yet another damn board change. And this weird setup with these other drivers. Like, these drivers are really strong, but, like, why are you making it so you can't easily switch the board out? Even when the holes literally line up. So, this hole, this screw hole here, and this one line up with this board. Right here, here, and here. But you actually cannot get to this port because it's too far in, which means if this board doesn't fit, none of the other aftermarket boards are going to fit either in terms of a drop-in, like the Easy Board V2, any of the Big Tree Tech SKR mini boards, or even Creality's own upgrade boards. So this is actually the 423 from the Ender 2 Pro, but it's the same layout. So, knockoff power supply, you can see here. Knockoff Creality power supply, no Meanwell. I mean, the different drivers are fine. These do the job, but you got this touchscreen here that's going to limit you, and they literally have the silk screen on here and the holes, the vias, or a regular 128/64 LCD, but you're going to have to solder on that header. Yeah. I don't get some of the choices here. I see why this printer is not popular and why they're clearancing it out. So, yep. That's about it. I mean, physical build quality is good, but this is going to be a pain in the ass to retrofit. I don't know if we could like make an adapter to basically offset the board a little bit here or not. But this is not easily upgradable, even software-wise, because, again, we've got one of these touchscreens that they're not releasing source code for, and they don't actually have to. So that's about it. In terms of something to buy to mod, not a bad deal at $250, which they're selling for on Amazon right now. But yeah, this stock board, like, because they didn't populate this one header here, like, it would have cost them like literally like 5 cents to put this socket on right here. And you would be able to do more with it. But they didn't. So I'm going to solder a socket on here. I've already bought it, and I'm not going to return it. I've had this for a couple months. But honestly, like, if I had bought this from Amazon or any other seller other than Tiny Machines, I probably would have set this back and said, we're not going to bother doing anything with it. I don't even know if it's worth us doing anything with it at this point because they're clearly discontinuing this printer model. So, yeah. Well, sorry to be such a buzzkill towards the end of the stream here. But I like being honest with you. So this is one of those, Scott, this is one of those like D-Win screen things, if that makes sense, which are hard to do stuff with, as you know. It's not the color one, like what's on the Ender 3v2 or the S1 with the rotary encoder. Would have much rather approved that. So, improve in terms of like upgradability, like if you want aftermarket part support, there's not going to be much in the ways of it because of how they designed this machine. And like I said, this little guy is going to be a pain if you're trying to do other stuff with it. So I'll have to see what's out there. The fact that they also didn't solder on the header. This board is more than capable of running a 128/64 style screen, but they didn't solder the header on. That sucks. That sucks for upgradability. So anyways, I'm going to do really quick a giveaway for you guys watching. Give me 1 second. So let's go ahead and do a giveaway and then wrap this up, and then I'm going to have to figure out what the hell we're going to do with it because I spent a lot of money on this, and it's really, really bad for a high-end printer in terms of us. I think we spent like $500 or $600 on it. I cannot remember. Let me see if I can find the invoice. I think I can do a giveaway with our chatbot on Streamlabs. Yes, I can. Let's do this. I set the giveaway up here. All right. Give away the Ender 7. Then I got to repackage it. I might as well try to do something with it. There you go. So, giveaway's live. I'm going to see if I can find what we paid for this. Because I know it was a lot in comparison to what we got. Like I said, I see why this thing is not popular. What did I get it for? Because I think I pre-ordered. I paid $600 for this. $600 is what I paid for this. If I didn't buy it from Chris, I would be returning it, to be completely honest with you guys. If at $600, at $250, no, I would keep it and screw with it. But, you know, Chris is a small business. I don't like doing that to small business, especially since I purchased back in April. But $600, this thing sucks for $600. Because I pre-ordered it from him. So yeah, this thing is not that great. So I'm gonna solder a header onto the LCD, or onto the SD, onto the motherboard, and get the firmware going. I mean, I don't know how many people who would want, like, if we had, hey, send us your board and then we'll tack on the header, or just have an LCD kit that comes with the header and you tack it on. I know a lot of people are not comfortable with soldering, but something like this to solder that header on would literally take me a total of maybe 10 minutes. So, or maybe have it like, hey, you send us a board and we'll switch it out or something. I don't know, like a core charge. But I don't want to be buying these boards either. I'm gonna have to figure out how to put a regular board in here. I think. So, but physically, in terms of buying something, to to modify with the intention of modifying it, not bad. Like, let's see. This is not pulling in the giveaway stuff. What the hell, Streamlabs? I'm sorry, guys. Hang on. Let me hit reset. Let me try this again. I'm sorry. I don't use the Streamlabs giveaway bot enough. All right, let's try it one more time. We'll do exclamation point under 7. There we go. Let's try this again. All right, there we go. It's working. Stupid bots. And if you guys can only enter if you watch on another platform, the giveaway you have to enter in on YouTube. So I'll figure something out. I'm gonna tack a header on and, you know, get it going, because that's what we you know, get it going in terms of LCD kit. I don't know if anybody's done anything with this particular screen on here. This screen also looks completely different from any other touch screen in terms of the circuitry on the back than I've seen from Creality before. So that's another thing. Is this yet another variation of these touch screens that are just very limited? Out of the box at $600 something, it's not a good buy, but $250, it's, I can say yeah, but you know, is it going to be a pain in the ass to maintain down the line in terms of replacing parts because everything's proprietary? I could do it, but you know, do other people want to do it? So, all right, let's see. I think we got 40 seconds left in the giveaway. We're gonna pull this, and then we're gonna wrap the stream up. I have to rack my brain to see. You know, like I said, we have those headers to solder onto the board here already. Like for the LCD, why they didn't put it on there beats me. It's weird. I could actually probably just use what are those, the DuPont headers, instead of, it doesn't even have to be an encapsulated one. Although I do have the encapsulated ones that are through-hole headers. So. Alright. We're going to pick the winner, and then if you are the winner, you're going to need to get in touch with me somehow. Hopefully it's someone I know already. And then I'm going to send you a $50 gift card. So let's see who the winner is. Looks like Non-Fam. Non-Fam, you got the $50 gift card. So, all right, everybody, let's just wrap this up and give my final thoughts. So, I paid $600 for this. I did a pre-order through Tiny Machines back in April, so I've had this sitting for a couple months. It's $600, absolutely not a good buy. Not a good buy. Physical build quality is really good. It's got all the usual Chinese printer downfalls like tin wires and knockoff power supplies. But right now, as of making this video, they're $250 on Amazon. At that price, if you're looking for a project printer, to something to mod and build on, that is definitely a good deal. I will not complain about that. So I'll go ahead and update the... I'll put a link in the description for the Ender 7 that's got that coupon code. So if you guys want to grab it, in terms of that, like I said, under $300, even given the downfalls, the fact that it's loud, it vibrates, it's loud. It's not, I wouldn't spend more than $300 on it, and I would have to want to get it. At $300, if I'm looking for a Core XY project, I think it's a good buy. But at anything more than that, it's going to be a really, really hard sell. Considering the Ender 6, in terms of printer to printer, I think the Ender 6 is a lot better machine than the 7. I don't think having, I don't think having those, you know, high torque stepper drivers is really worth the extra hassle of this machine. My Ender 6 has been a really reliable machine. I really do like that. It's definitely in my top machine. So Non-Fam, I think we have this set up already. Send me like something showing that that's your account. To streams@th3dstudio.com. I think that's still set up. I'm looking here. Yeah, that email box should still be set up when we do other streams. That'll come into the ticket system. So, and I'll I'll have your email once you email us. Or if you want, if you've ordered from us, give me your order number and I can just look it up now and I'll send it to that email. I don't know if you've ordered from us. We have a lot of people that actually watch us that aren't customers, which is fine. Let me know. If you have an order number, just pop it in the chat and I can look it up that way. I'll give you a couple seconds to respond here. Otherwise, just send an email to streams with an S at th3dstudio.com with like something proving your account. So, all right. I don't know how. There's not that much of a stream delay, but we're gonna wrap this up. So, I typed the wrong thing. It's streams with an S. Streams. There we go. Streams with an S. And it will go right to our system, and I'll send you a gift card in the next day or two here, tops. So, everybody. So yeah, I'm disappointed with this printer, to be completely honest with you, especially considering I spent $600 on something that was very underwhelming and not super easy to, you know, do retrofitting and upgrades on. Proprietary board, so you can't easily swap stuff out. Now, here's the thing. You can physically mount, you know, a Creality style board like the 427 or the 422 or the EasyBoard V2 or, you know, the Big Tree Tech boards or anything that's in that pattern. It's just the ports are not going to be accessible. They're too short. So it's kind of a pain. Where's the dog? Oh, we're being a good boy for once. He knows. He knows we're wrapping up this. Do you want... Hang on. How did he know that I handed it to you when the eyes were closed? There we go. Well, thanks for joining us, even though this was kind of disappointing. Hey, at least we found out that they're clearancing them out. Yeah, I would recommend buying it if it's a project and it's cheap, but at $600 it's a really hard sell. So, Chris, if you watch this, you need to update your product page and let people know why they're spending $750 on this printer and what upgrades you're coming with, because I do think it could be a solid project to upgrade. So, anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy printing, and I will see you guys on the next one. Have a good weekend.